Want to be a top leader in your organization? Probably you're starting up a new company and probably you're using technology, or probably you're building a new software product. These are the top 5 skills you need to learn as a CEO or as a CTO. In order to run a great company, especially in the 21st century, most likely you're going to use technology around it. Now, we have so many companies that are building software products, different kinds of software products for different niches and different kinds of markets. Now, you need to think about the top 5 skill sets you need to know in order to create a great company, have good work relationship with your people that you're working with. We do software consultation for different kinds of businesses around the world. And what we do specifically as a CTO is help guide your team how to create great software products. We also do mentorship, where we mentor software engineers and also mentor CTOs. And we also create software products for your company. So in case you need to reach out to us, just visit the website link in the description below. If you have any experience as a CTO or as a CEO trying to lead companies and probably have your own insights, please share, write a comment. Thank you. Now to our video. These are the top 5 skills that you need to have in order to create a great company and also be a great leader in it. Whether you're a CTO/CEO, because I endeavor on both sides. I'm a CEO/CTO as well. So these are the top 5 things you need to learn as a CTO who is transitioning to be a CEO in your company. Number 1, you need to have deep technology expertise. Why? Well, you're going to definitely hire or probably work with quite a number of people under your team, and you need to know exactly different kinds of technology and what they're used for, what they're great at and also what they're not great at. Now, we have different technologies around the world. You need to understand also the ins and outs of architecture, software architecture, also to modeling databases, to also knowing about cybersecurity, because once you have a software product, you need to think about the vulnerabilities that you might be exposing your users to the internet. You need to think about the vulnerabilities within your software application that hackers could take advantage of and what they could do to your users. Steve Jobs said, "Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower." Now, you understanding your deep technology, having a good understanding on different software programming languages like Python, Go, or Java, whatever it might be. Then also knowing the frameworks, understanding what framework is good for what. We have some web frameworks like React, Angular, and then we also have other frameworks that are probably used to just create desktop applications or web applications. Now, after understanding that, then you need to also understand what the different stacks in this case. Should I use Python probably with another sort of probably database or programming language for something different? Now, we have the front end, we have the back end, and we also have database design. So you need to have a deep understanding on all of these 3 categories. Understanding the ins and outs, what's good for what's really good for front end, what would be really good especially for the use case scenario, especially when you're trying to build out a product. For example, you might say you want to create a product around probably a web application, and you want to use React to build it. But then you need to think about the different software requirements. For example, if in there is artificial intelligence, you might need to think differently. You might need to say, okay, probably if I am to look at the different programming languages that are mainly used for AI, or probably making great in AI or any AI modifications, probably in this case, I understand Python is used a lot. So you might need to think and say, okay, between Django and React, probably I might need to go to a Python framework. So Django is one example, Flask is also another example. So you need to discuss and say, or with your team and say, okay, how are we going to go about this? If we are going to incorporate AI into this, what are the specific things that AI is actually going to do? And what framework can give us the best, what programming language or library that are available can give us the best out of what we need to achieve? Now, for that case, you might need to change from using React to using Django for that particular case. Having deep-rooted knowledge on how different programming languages work, what frameworks are good for what purposes, gives you an edge over other people. Your team members will be able to understand, and if you're able to understand and clearly articulate why certain languages or why certain frameworks are better than others, or even databases for specific purposes, your teammates will be able to have a deep appreciation of what you're trying to tell them, and they'll be able to follow you because you're leading them. You could be a CEO of your own company or a CTO, but you could be a techpreneur. You have a deep understanding of programming languages, even building software from scratch, but you're also a CEO. This is what you need to know. Skill number 2, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, said, empathy makes you a better innovator. Why did he say that? You need to think about empathy. You need to remove yourself. I know sometimes we get trapped in that rabbit hole where we think as a software developer, but now you're a leader. Now you're a CEO or a CTO, or probably you're a techpreneur who has a very good understanding actually how to build software products. You need to pull yourself out of that hole and think as a leader. You're trying to build a business. Every CTO, the companies that I've worked at as a CTO, I need to think about what I'm building and how it aligns clearly with the business vision, the business objectives. Now, whether a CEO or CTO, you must have a deep understanding on how to connect the technology to the business vision. Right? You cannot just begin building software products out of nowhere. You need to have a deep understanding of where the company is going. What is the plan? What are the goals for the next 1 year of this company, the next 5 years, or the next 10 years? Then, what products are we going to build in order to create or actually achieve that vision or that goal? You need to be able to align these two things, the technology and the business. That's very, very paramount. At the end of the day, if you build a great business simply because you built a great product, then you'll be able to have a paycheck at the end of the month, or probably have a way to survive and get through each and every other day as you're working. Very good CEOs/CTOs are very good strategic thinkers. They know how to think strategically, what software product is going to be, how a software product is going to help them build a great business. You need to be able to align these goals with the technology being used, and also thinking about the long term. As you're thinking about how to build right now, how are you going to maintain it? Are you going to be able to build a software product that's easy to maintain in the next 5-10 years? At our company at Zantu, we literally switched from using Node.js to using Go because we saw the simplicity in using Go as a programming language in order to help us achieve very, really good results, but also think about how we maintain our software products so that we have less technical debt and it's easy to maintain for the next 5-10 years. So that gives us a boost over our competition. So you need to think strategically as a CTO or CEO who is tech related. Skill number 3, Jeff Bezos said, if you're not flexible, you pound your head against the wall. People management. You need to think about this as a CEO/CTO. Whether you're trying to build a company from the ground up, a startup, or you're probably trying to scale up, you need to think about how do I work with these different people? How do I create a harmonious environment where each and everybody feels understood and they feel like they're able to learn from each other? Creating a non-toxic environment is something that's very paramount to actually creating great products. Someone once said that entrepreneurs build teams and those teams in turn create great businesses. Think about it. You cannot be an entrepreneur that just creates a business, because if you're going to be an entrepreneur that just creates a business, you're probably not going to grow a team. However, you need to think about how to build a team that's going to create a great business. Great teams build great businesses. You need to be able to know how to relate with the people that you're working with, whether they are junior people, whether they're senior people, whether they're top talent, or probably just entry-level people, just learning on the job. You need to think about how to learn from them as well. You cannot be in a scenario where you're a leader and you're not literally listening to them, because they are human beings just like you and me. We need to be able to learn from each other. My own experience at Zantu, I've had to learn from my own developers, my own people that I'm actually working with. I have to learn from even from the new entrants, because at the end of the day, I don't know everything. But fostering an environment where everybody learns from each other and everybody respects each other is very paramount to creating a great business. And that is a skill that you need to acquire in order to be a top CTO or CEO in this case. Now, my own experience, this has worked out for the best, because at the end of the day, you don't have high turnover. People ended up quitting your company for no apparent reason, or probably there's actually really good reasons why they're quitting your company, but they'll probably never be honest about it or even tell you about it, or they'll probably find better opportunities. But simply because you created a great environment where everybody is able to learn from each other, share, and feel appreciated, even if probably there's another job around the corner that probably might even pay more, but simply because of the value that they are getting from you as a top leader in that organization, they might stick around simply because they want to learn what you know in this case. And you'll be able to retain great talent for the company. Skill number 4, business acumen. You need to think about how you're going to create a business, but you need to also study about business. You need to know, what are my goals for the business? How am I going to build this business from the ground up? You being able to know how to do this is going to be very paramount. You cannot be in a position where you're trying to grow a business, but you don't know how to even do it, or what product people even need. You need to be empathetic enough to know right from the class, because at the end of the day, the customer is king. You need to know how to use the customer's knowledge to your advantage, how to build a business based off of what customers actually need and what they actually want in your software product or any other product that you're trying to build. Why? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to just be building software products just for the sake. You need to think about the end goal in mind. You're building a product, but why are you building it? Why are you building this product? If you release it to market, how is it going to be sustainable? Now, those are questions that great leaders, like great CTOs and CEOs, actually know what to do or know how to achieve. So be very business centric. Understand that you're merging technology and business, but know your business. Know how business actually works. Know what features greatly impact the business, positively or negatively. Number 5, Mark Zuckerberg said, the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. Now, that's the biggest risk. As an entrepreneur, me, the leader of Zantu Technologies, and also being a CTO as well, I've had to learn how to take risks, how to think through problem solving. The thing is, the greater risks that you take, the greater the rewards you'll experience. Now, you need to understand what is good risk and what is bad risk, right? Now, if you have good risk in this scenario, good risk is definitely going to impact the business positively, and bad risk will impact the business negatively. Now, if you're going into a risk, if you are trying to make a decision and probably there's a huge risk around it, you need to think about the problem. Think about what problem, okay? And then think about the solution to that problem. As a leader, as a CTO or CEO, you need to be able to learn how to solve problems. How to solve problems that probably your team might not be able to solve. Because at the end of the day, they're looking to you as a leader. And you need to know how to solve problems. It's really good to know that sometimes you might not be able to solve the problem yourself, but you can think together as a team. You could just form a think tank in your organization and just work together around that problem, because at the end of the day, you might not have all the answers. Your team members might not also have all the answers, but it's good to refer to other people, learn about different problem solving techniques. Sometimes it's so good to also think about learning from first principles. Now, this is a technique that Elon Musk has taken advantage of, how to think from first principles. Now, once you understand the principles, you're able to create multiple methods, versus when you only know the method and not know the principle, you can't get any other method. So think about the principles of problem solving. That's where you start from. Then you'll know how to overcome certain kinds of risk and turn them into positive risk, if it was negative risk in that regard. Now, these have been the top 5 skill sets that you need to learn as a techpreneur, a CEO, or a CTO. Thank you. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, stay tuned, listen to other episodes as well, and follow us.